So I graduated with a degree in business administration, highest GPA at the University of San Diego in my graduating class. I was good at school. I was good at math. I even was good at accounting. I got A's in everything. But I didn't want a real job, so I had a bunch of adventure jobs. I taught skiing and windsurfing, and I climbed mountains and went on adventures, and I had a lot of restaurant jobs.
Yes, you did.
Along the way, all of them absolutely fantastic. And then I married my husband, the plumber, Hot Rod, and Hot Rod had a plumbing business. This is how I got into this whole thing. And then Hot Rod's partner and best friend died at age 33. Yeah. And really, he worked himself into a stress-induced health crisis and punched out after working a 100-hour work week. Like the last words he said to me, too, were, if I don't do it myself, it'll never get done. And then he died.
Yeah.
And it got done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I bring that up because it's like not worth that.
No.
But then I did something really stupid.
What stupid thing did you do, Ellen?
Lots of stupid things. But this one, so at the time I'm a restaurant manager, which means I have a salary and vacation and things like that. I mean, you earn your money in restaurants, that's for sure. But I turned to my husband, Hot Rod, who at this point said, I'd rather work for someone else. I really don't like the business part. And I'm like, oh, no. I've got a great idea. I'll quit my real job. After all, I had this high GPA in school, and I've had all these jobs.
Degree.
Yeah. So I'll come work for you. You turn wrenches. I'll count the money. We'll get rich. And that didn't happen. And all we did was fight. So, yeah. So there was a lot of that.
Yeah.
Which is why Hot Rod and I are still married and do not work with each other anymore.
And, I relate to that.
But this is
story,
how, so then I got thrust into this, and the books were a mess. But what happened is I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to pay anybody to do it. I couldn't pay anybody to do it. And I just fought it. And I had an accountant. Her name was Brenda, and I love her so much. She and her husband lived in a teepee, total hippies. And I said to Brenda, I don't want to do this. I don't think I should have to do it. Someone smarter, brighter, more interested in this than me should do it. And she said, why don't you just sit down and learn it, and I'll teach you. And I so lucked out with Brenda because it's not often you're going to find an accountant that good, that helpful. I'm crying talking about her. I love Brenda and Steve, her husband, so much. And she just said, hey, let's just sit down. We'll do it side by side. You do the accounting. I'll check your work. I'll keep you out of the pokey. We'll come up with some kind of tax strategy, which you don't need because you're not making any money. So we'll start from there. But Brenda really held my beer as I figured this out. And then after fighting it, I remember one day just going, okay, I'll do it. I'll learn it. And it took me about 10 minutes to figure it out.
Once you gave up.
Once I gave up the fighting it. Yeah. And it was actually
it's funny how
fun.
I've been in the same spot with certain resistances.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to do this. This isn't what I should have to be doing. Why is it me?
Who else can do it? Yeah.
And then finally you just go,
I guess it's me.
I guess it's me. And then
I guess it's me.
10 minutes, it's like, but we spent, a year of fighting this thing.
It's exactly what happened. And so it was at that point then, it was almost like I was born again because I was like going, this is not that hard. It was just me being a pill about it. And I started to get how it worked. And here's the thing that changed my life. When you sell stuff for more than it costs, you create a profit. And you manufacture that money. It wasn't there, and it's there now. It's like magic.
Hidden behind it is we don't necessarily, you would think we feel we're worthy, but again, the world has told us we're not. Where I woke up at 2 a.m. to go to a nursing home, hospital, somebody's house, fix that, and my knees and back hurt me, and I didn't work all day long forever. You asking me if I'm worth the money? I'll tell you right now, at this age, I work too cheap.
Yeah.
And so that's part of what I always, and you've heard me do it in Sales Power all the time, because it's really, and you can hear it in my voice, it bothers me.
Yeah.
It bothers me to this day. I have a quick story I want to share so Ellen and I met, was now next door, and we got together, and Ellen and I became fast friends, and she gets a gig in Wisconsin to work for a manufacturer who's brilliant, knows that if he educates his clients, they're going to be better customers. So she says to me, let's do the Al and Elle show. I'll do the financials, you do the thing about the manuals and the rest of it. And I bring my writer, who's with me, because we had already had the workshop set up. And we're doing this tag team up and down. So I finish my stint. Ellen goes to the front of the stage and starts talking about financials. And I look at Kim, that was her name, and I said, Kim, come outside with me. And Kim and I sneak out to the back while she's on the stage, and I go, oh, my heavens. I just realized that I could do a successful operation as a surgeon, and they will die if they don't know what Ellen does. And really, that really was when I started to say, well, I would do my work, planning, operation, staffing, and I go, unless you think you know your numbers so well that you can go down the sheet and the rest of the stuff and you get to known financial position, I could do everything right with you. Planning, operations, staffing, sales, marketing. And you still would flunk out if you're not in the financial realm.
Well, let me add this, though. So then I would work with people on the financials, and they're charging $50 an hour. We go through all the machinations and everything. We come up with $400 an hour, $500 an hour. I would be giving you a loaded gun with which to shoot yourself in the foot unless you changed your operating basis, unless you got better at sales and at marketing. Like, I was in the same boat. So when Al and I got together, it was like high five, because I didn't really want to do those things. But let me share this too. Like, as I want to give Frank Blau a heads up. Frank has had a huge impact on all of us.
Oh, next door.
And a lot of people don't know who he is, and I like to just give him credit, one, because he loves it, and he deserves it. Frank was the one who really brought up this self-esteem issue. He says the problem in our industry is a self-esteem issue, is that people don't think they're worth it. And it's something we've battled our whole careers. I can't charge that much. I'd be ripping people off. Who's getting ripped off here? Not your customer who's now negotiating for Italian marble all over their house, right? It's you.
And they're at their second visit to Starbucks today.
Yeah, and it's you sacrificing your body. How many years does a plumber, an HVAC guy even, or a garage door technician even have, right, in exchange for this work? But Frank was the one who, he taught me a lot about the balance sheet and the profit and loss. He sent me over on that greasy fax paper that used to spool into my office.
Used to curl up.
I just like come into the office and there was like 50 yards of it. And those were his financials, and he taught me how he did it on his own financials. And I've never had any other mentor do that.
Yeah, no,
he changed so many lives.
So many lives, yeah. So it's kind of funny.
Still bossing us all around.
So Ellen I was in a big market, Long Island, 2 million people, and Ellen was in a very small market. What size in Park City?
Oh, like 3,000 people at the time, yeah.
And so Ellen's charging the right price. We've become good friends, and one day she calls me up and she's crying. I go, Ellen, what's
I cry a lot. I mean, it's just saying.
Excuse me, Ellen, why are you crying today on the phone with me? And Ellen said, I was in the supermarket, and the person said that I ripped her off, and so I said, Ellen, may I ask you a question? When you were going broke and really making no money at all, did people still complain about the price? She goes, yes, they did. And I said, well, here's the good news. You can give them the money back now.
Yeah. And it was like complete liberation.